We create a character. We have readers love them, or at least begin to like them. And then what? We drive the story forward by having the character want something desperately. Your character will have to make a series of choices to get that degree, revenge, never-ending love, or whatever you set before them. And through those choices, we'll get to know more about this guy, right? He's down on his luck, needing money for rent. Does he dress up in a suit and tie and go get a job at an office? Or does he get hired at an armored car company so he can later pull off the largest heist in history? Who is this guy? And why? What if he does rob that armored car, but it's to save his little sister with leukemia? What do we think about him now? He's adhering to a set of ideals and morals that drive his actions. He's hero-worthy, right? Still, the robbery, that can't be right, can it? Just like the tenuous balance of suspended disbelief, we've created a balance here. Your reader cares about your character, but his actions are questionable. He seems more real than ever to me, creatively flawed. The reader may go with it. After all, he's committing the robbery for his sister's operation. What if when he's unloading the money, the manager steps in and gets shot by our character? Does this tip the scale too far? Without the money, his sister dies. What will he do? This is not what he wanted. He doesn't view himself as a killer, and yet here he is, faced with getting caught or possibly killing again to save his sister. What's going to happen to his young niece if her mother dies? What kind of future will she have? Regardless of the choices from here on out, we've succeeded in providing a fair amount of tension. How is our character going to get out of this mess? You can see how having a desperate want moves the story forward. It creates the need for the character to make a series of choices. It also helps to characterize them. What we do is who we are, after all, isn't it? Having a want also does something else. It humanizes. When we want something desperately, we're most human, and so are our characters. This guy might have just shot someone to get money for his kid's sister, for God's sake. Notice that I keep saying desperate want. That's because if the character just kind of wants something, the reader will just kind of want to read your story. If this guy just kind of wants to get the money, he's not going to do the things that we normally wouldn't do. And remember, that's one of the signs he's a heroic character. Desperate wants create engaging actions. In life, we're naturally attracted to people who are motivated and want something. It gives us something to root for. I hope Rudy scores that winning touchdown. I hope Bogart and Bergman wind up together in the end. Imagine you have a character who's been locked in a basement for 2 days and wants to escape to save the world from an atomic bomb. It's going off in only 12 more hours. He finally breaks the lock and wants to flag down a cab to take him to the building where the bomb is. But you know what else he desperately wants? Some water, some food. He's been in a basement left for dead for 48 hours. In other words, he has multiple wants. So under the wanted column, we're going to write 2 different wants in for our character. The top box is for the character's overall want. There can be many larger wants, and they're subject to change. But for now, write in 1 or more larger wants. Wants that have the possibility of spanning our entire story. In the second box in the wanted column, let's write what the immediate want is for the character in that scene. In this case, it would be to eat and drink. It's okay for the wants to be similar or contrasting. They can have 20 at the same time. Just know what works best is when the character and the reader clearly know what the wants are and can therefore root for the goals to be achieved. If your scene only consists of a single want, like keep the world from exploding, that's okay too. This chart is designed to give you a framework to refer to for the story crafting process, not to be a structure you're forced to use. This list provides some ideas for desperate wants your character may have. Love, fulfillment of lifelong ambition, revenge, impossible goal, defeating the plans of an enemy, solving a crime. Now that we've explored our characters' wants, let's consider their needs. Did that character locked in the basement for 2 days want or need to eat and drink? He needed to. There's a whole host of things that we need as humans, and I've seen amazing emotions conjured by stories when the desperate wants of a character are opposed by the needs of the character. What if this guy's a diabetic? He's hurting for insulin, but he sacrifices himself in order to save the world. I'd say the writer is crafting well by identifying both the wants and needs, highlighting the character's desperation. Another character could want a mansion on the ocean with every fiber in their being, while what they really need is a loving, caring family. Remember, one of the main goals is to have the reader root for your character. When the reader is made aware of the character's need before the character is even aware of it, we may find ourselves more engaged in the story than ever. After all, we know more than the person we're reading about. And we want them to get it, to figure it out. Come on, you know you love her, don't leave. Get off the train. The reader can even be skillfully made aware of the ticking time bomb under the table, where the character is savoring a sandwich and French onion soup. Again, we're creating tension, whether on a moral or physical level. Keep in mind, you can make one of these see who sheets for each of your main characters to help build your story. This will help you map out your characters, their wants and needs, and your locations. When you're writing out the wants of your next character, notice that something interesting will happen if the two characters want opposing things. One character wants to go to war to protect human rights. Another character is a pacifist who believes in peace and love. One character wants Tim to stay in school and get his diploma. Another character wants him to drop out and save the farm so his family can eat. Maliciously, a character can want the other to fail at reaching their goal. Or they can have the best intentions in the world and foul things up accidentally. What matters is each character is an individual in their own right. They have a desperate want and need, whether they're aware of them or not. When these wants and needs clash with the wants and needs of other characters, sparks fly, and a reader is pulled into the story.